The Stoics lived through war. Marcus Aurelius led Rome during the Marcomannic Wars. Seneca survived Nero's reign of terror. Epictetus was born a slave in a brutal empire. They knew fear, they knew uncertainty, they knew what it's like to live with the constant threat of violence and collapse. And they developed a philosophy for staying grounded through it all. Not through denial, through wisdom, through practices that actually work when everything external is falling apart. And here's what's remarkable. Their 2,000-year-old wisdom is more relevant right now than most modern psychology, because they weren't philosophizing from comfort, they were surviving through crisis, and what they learned can help you now. I discovered Stoicism during a previous global crisis. I was drowning in anxiety about things I couldn't control, and someone recommended I read Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. These are his private journals, written during wartime, while leading armies, while dealing with plague, while watching people die. And I expected philosophical abstractions, but what I found was practical wisdom, sentences I could use immediately, reminders that actually calmed my nervous system. And I realized this man was writing about the same fears I have, just 2,000 years ago, and he found a way through, and so can I. Then I went deeper into Stoic philosophy, Epictetus, Seneca, and I found the same themes, the same practices, all focused on one central truth. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you respond. And when you focus on what's within your control and release what isn't, you find peace even in chaos, even in war, even when everything external is terrible. This isn't theory, this is tested wisdom, and it works. Here's what we're covering. First, the core Stoic principle that dissolves anxiety about war and why it's so powerful for modern crisis. Second, what the Stoics actually practiced during war and how you can use the same practices now. And third, 3 specific Stoic exercises you can do today that will help you stay grounded even when war feels imminent. Let's start with the central Stoic principle. Epictetus said, "Some things are within our control and some things are not. Within our control are our opinions, our impulses, our desires, our aversions, essentially everything that is our own doing. Not within our control are our body, our property, our reputation, our position, essentially everything that is not our own doing." And this distinction is everything. Because when you try to control what you can't control, you suffer. But when you focus on what you can control, you find peace. Applied to modern war fears, you cannot control whether war breaks out in Iran. You cannot control what world leaders decide. You cannot control global politics. You cannot control the future. These are outside your control. And worrying about them doesn't change them, it just makes you suffer. But you can control your response to the situation. You can control how much news you consume. You can control whether you prepare sensibly. You can control how you treat people around you. You can control where you direct your attention. You can control your judgments about events. These are within your power. And focusing here is where your agency lives. This sounds simple, but it's profound. Because most of your anxiety about war is about things outside your control. Will war happen? Will it escalate? Will it affect me? Will it go nuclear? None of these are within your power to determine. And the Stoics would say, then why waste energy worrying about them? That energy could go toward what you can control. Your preparation, your response, your state of mind, your relationships, your contribution. These things are yours. And this is where you have power. The Stoics call this the dichotomy of control, and it's the foundation of Stoic practice. You constantly return to this question: is this within my control? If yes, act. If no, release. And this simple distinction dissolves most anxiety, because anxiety is almost always about trying to control what you can't control. And when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, anxiety loses its grip. Now, what did the Stoics actually practice during war? They weren't just thinking about philosophy, they were applying it daily. And there are specific practices they use that you can use right now. One is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This sounds dark, but it's actually liberating. You deliberately imagine worst-case scenarios, not to spiral, to prepare mentally. You ask, what's the worst that could happen? War could break out. I could lose my home. I could lose loved ones. I could die. And instead of running from these thoughts, you sit with them. You ask, if this happened, could I bear it? Could I find a way forward? Could I maintain my values and my humanity even in that scenario? And the Stoics discovered, yes, you could. Humans are incredibly resilient. We can bear far more than we think we can. And facing that truth reduces fear. Because you're not running from the possibility anymore. You've looked at it and you've realized, even in the worst case, I would find a way. This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. It's mental rehearsal for difficulty. So that if crisis comes, you're not blindsided. You've already imagined it. You've already strengthened your capacity to handle it. And if it doesn't come, you've built resilience anyway. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." And premeditatio malorum is how you build that strength. Another practice the Stoics used is the view from above. When you're overwhelmed by crisis, you zoom out. You imagine looking at Earth from space. You see the whole planet, all of human history, all the crises that have come before. And you realize this moment, as intense as it feels, is one moment in an infinite expanse of time. Humans have survived countless wars, countless collapses, and life continues. This doesn't minimize your fear, but it gives perspective. It reminds you that you're part of something larger, and that even catastrophic events are temporary in the grand scheme. Here's how you actually apply Stoic wisdom to modern war fears. Practice number 1. Daily dichotomy of control review. Every morning, you review what's within your control and what isn't. You literally write it down. Outside my control, whether war happens, what leaders decide, global politics, other people's reactions. Within my control, my response, my preparation, my state of mind, my relationships, my values, my actions. And throughout the day, when you notice yourself worrying about something, you ask, is this within my control? If no, you practice releasing it. You say, this is not mine to carry. I release what I cannot control. This isn't spiritual bypassing. You're not pretending war isn't a threat. You're just refusing to waste energy trying to control what you can't control. And that energy gets redirected to what you can control, which is meaningful action, wise preparation, being present with loved ones, living according to your values. These things are within your power, and when you focus here, you feel agency instead of helplessness. Practice number 2, premeditatio malorum. Face your worst fears to defang them. Once a week, you sit down and deliberately imagine the worst case scenario. War breaks out, it escalates, it affects you personally, and you ask, could I bear this? What would I do? How would I maintain my humanity? And you imagine yourself bearing it, not collapsing, not losing yourself, but finding a way forward, drawing on inner strength you might not know you have. This practice is uncomfortable, but it's powerful, because when you've mentally rehearsed worst case, it loses some of its terror. You're no longer running from it, you've looked at it, you've imagined surviving it, and that builds resilience. It tells your nervous system, even if the worst happens, I can handle it. And that reduces the constant low-level fear. Because you're not afraid of your own fear anymore. You've proven to yourself that you could bear what you're afraid of. And you balance this with focusing on what's good right now. The Stoics weren't pessimists. Marcus Aurelius regularly reminded himself to appreciate the present moment, to notice what's beautiful, what's working, who loves you, what you're grateful for. So after you do premeditatio malorum, you also practice gratitude. You notice what's good, what's precious, what you want to protect. This keeps you from spiraling into nihilism. You're holding both. The worst could happen and life is beautiful right now. Both are true. Practice number 3, the view from above. Zoom out when fear overwhelms you. When you're consumed by fear about war, you practice perspective. You imagine looking at Earth from space. You see all of human history, all the wars that have happened, all the crises humanity has survived, and you remember this is one moment in time, one crisis among countless crises, and humans have always found ways forward. Life has always continued, and it will continue after this too. Then you zoom back in, but you bring that perspective with you. You remember, yes, this crisis is real. Yes, my fear is valid, but I'm part of a species that has survived everything thrown at it, and I have inner strength I might not have accessed yet. strength that crisis will reveal. And that's not something to fear, that's something to trust. You're more resilient than you know, and the Stoics prove it, because they survived, and so will you. Here's what I want you to understand. The Stoics weren't naive optimists. They lived through terrible things: war, plague, political violence, persecution, and they still found peace. Not by denying reality, by focusing on what they could control, by preparing mentally for difficulty, by maintaining perspective, and by living according to their values regardless of circumstances. This is tested wisdom. It worked for them, and it will work for you. We covered the core Stoic principle, the dichotomy of control: focus on what you can control and release what you can't. We explored Stoic practices during crisis, premeditatio malorum and the view from above. And we walked through 3 exercises: daily dichotomy review, face worst fears to defang them, and zoom out for perspective when overwhelmed. These aren't just ideas, they're practices, and they only work if you practice them daily, consistently, not perfectly, just persistently. And over time, they change how you relate to fear, how you relate to uncertainty, how you relate to crisis. You become someone who can stand steady even when everything external is unstable. And that's freedom. That's the peace the Stoics found. And it's available to you. So here's your practice for today. Write down the dichotomy. Outside my control, list. Within my control, list. And every time you notice fear arising, ask, is this within my control? If yes, take action. If no, release it. Just for today. And notice how it feels to focus your energy where you actually have power. Let me know in the comments, what's helping you from Stoic philosophy? Sometimes ancient wisdom hits different when you actually need it. Welcome to Stoic.com. This is where strength lives.